Stop! Don't toss that old window just yet. Start by scraping loose paint with a wire brush and scraper, then smooth everything down with an orbital sander. Give it a good wash and let it dry. Next, build the base. Measure your window and cut 4 boards to match its width and thickness using a miter saw. Pre-drill and screw these together to create a box that fits your window frame exactly. For the bottom, cut planks to fit inside the frame. Secure them with pocket holes and add cedar strips to cover any remaining gaps. To add the legs, determine your desired height and subtract the depth of the window and box. Cut and sand 4 posts, then screw them into the inside corners of the base. Now for the finish. Tape off the window panes, trimming the edges for a clean line. I'm using a warm white called raw silk. Use a small brush for the inner frames and a wider one for the top and sides, applying 2 coats. Once dry, attach the window to the base using 3 simple butt hinges on one side. Now your display case coffee table is ready. It's perfect for showing off treasures or adding fairy lights for ambiance, with plenty of room for a storage basket underneath. It's a custom, high-end look from a simple salvaged find.
You'll want to be on the lookout for an old vintage window when you see how charming and helpful this garden idea turned out. Heading to my storage shed, I'm selecting 8 cedar planks that measure longer than both the window width and depth. I'm now placing 4 boards around the window to determine the finished box size I'm about to build. I'm measuring the width of the window from left to right and the depth from front to back according to the angle chosen. Since my planks are smaller, I'm stacking 2 for each of the 4 sides. So I'm cutting 4 longer width planks and 4 shorter depth planks. To join the planks to the support boards, I'm stacking 2 planks, then positioning a support board on the left and right side underneath, then attaching with screws. Now that the box is built, I'm positioning it in the desired flower bed location. Reaching for 2 heavy-duty old gate hinges, I'm positioning them onto the window frame along the top back, then pre-drilling holes into each hinge hole before attaching with screws. Now I'm positioning the window on top of the box. Using the 2x4 to hold the window in place, I'm attaching the hinges to the fence with screws. And I am left with a super cool and useful cold frame that looks as good as it works. This will be the ultimate spot to protect and help a few tender plants get a head start. The window allows the sunshine in while adding protection from the elements. And since the sides are not sealed, there's also plenty of needed airflow.
This weekend project is me repurposing my wife's shoe container. Now, don't worry, I'm going to rebuild her a new one, but I'm going to take this old one and take it apart. Now, it's got some rough edges on it, so I need to give it covered for this next project. I grabbed some contact paper I have, and I'm going to lay it out to get the right measurement. I'm going to do all 4 sides equally and make sure I cut along the edge instead of wrapping the whole thing at one time. Once I got it cut, then I need to peel it away. It is really sticky, so you got to be careful that it doesn't stick anything you don't want to. I'm going to crease the inside, turn it over, and get it lined up perfectly in one corner. Then I'm going to flatten it out with my hand and start working back a little bit as I go, pulling the contact paper at the same time. Again, going back and forth, make sure I don't get any wrinkles or any bubbles. Once I get it all the way pulled off, I'm going to have a little extra just hanging over the sides. I'm going to take a nice sharp razor blade and cut that along the edge. Then I'm going to take a putty knife and just squeeze it all out, make sure I get all the wrinkles out. The next thing I need to do is I need to build some legs for this next project. I'm going to take this little 1x2, mark it at 16 inches, and I'm going to cut it. There's 4 corners to this box, so I'm going to need actually 8 of these sticks. I'm going to use the first one I cut as a template to mark all the rest of them and cut them at 16 inches. Once I do that, I'm going to turn the box upside down. That way, when I put the legs on, it's got a nice flat spot to put it against the table. I'm going to use some brad nails to put these in. I can also add some glue if I want. That will also do the trick. But the reason I needed 8 of them is I'm going to put 2 on each corner, one overlapping the other. Once I put these 2 corners in, I'm going to go ahead and do my 3rd and my 4th. Again, just using some brad nails to hold it together, and it's going to make it really strong. Next, I'm going to add some potting soil. Yeah, that's right, some potting soil. I'm going to put that in. It's nice and dry, not too wet or anything. Once I get that potting soil all smoothed out, I want about 3 to 4 inches. I'm going to bring it inside the house. Then I'm going to add a little bit of pea gravel. I wanted to find some white gravel, but I couldn't find any local, so I just used this. Once I get that gravel all spread out, I'm going to take some fake shrubbery and put it around. You can use real if you want, you just got to make sure you have a nice waterproof base. But this fake stuff's going to look really good. And then I found this glass piece at a thrift store. Perfectly fits on top. I got really lucky on this and it just looks absolutely amazing. I love how it turned out. Give it a nice decor right there in our sitting room.
I've been wanting to create a piece of art with a thrifted window frame, but I haven't been able to find one, so I decided to make my own. I'm starting this project with the frame. I want to paint it to look like an old window, so I'm using this beige colored paint for the base layer. Now that I have that layer on, I want to create some texture on the frame. I'm going to use this thick texture medium and with a small trowel to put it on. The paste is going to harden and give the frame the look of an old layered paint that's been on there for a long time. Now that the texture medium is dry, I'm going to cover those spots with the same beige paint that I used for the first layer. Next, I want to make my faux window panes on the glass. To do this, I'm going to find the middle both vertically and horizontally and start with a piece of painter's tape marking those spots. I want to add one piece of tape to either side now so that I can remove the middle, and that's going to create a space where I can paint and create panes. Using some white chalk paint, I can now fill in that middle part of the painter's tape and make my faux window panes. With everything painted, I want to create the flowers on the window now. I've chosen some folk art type flowers that I love and I've printed them out. This is the perfect way to create a piece of art if you don't feel confident hand painting something. I'm going to arrange and tape these to the front of the glass with the pictures facing through to the back. I actually want to paint the flowers on the back of the glass so that it looks like you're looking through a window when you see them. Using small artist brushes, I can now paint each of the flowers using the printed flower as my guide. I'm just using fun folk art colors that match the style of the flowers and the stems. I'm probably going to need to paint each one of them twice just to make sure the paint is nice and dark. Now that everything's dry, I can go ahead and remove the pattern flowers and then find a new place for my piece of art. How fun is this piece? I love that I was able to turn the thrifted frame into something special. I hope this has inspired you to give your old frame or window a makeover as well. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Home Talk. I'll see you next time.